Welcome to Gail's Garden, Herbs and More. Well, look at that. Those snapdragons and pansies are still blooming with all the frost and freeze we've had. I don't know how they have survived it. Now, I understand my winter vegetables, like bok choy, but my lemon thyme's doing pretty good. I mean, the outsides of it got bit pretty good, but yeah, those just keep blooming. It's like some people throughout their life, they just keep blooming, and sometimes you wonder how they keep putting out beautiful flowers when their life has been as rough as it has. And sometimes those are the ones that put out the prettiest flowers. Look at the trees. The leaves are all falling down. It's the fourth season, the last season of the year. And all the leaves have fallen from these trees. It's all the things throughout their life, the nutrients, all their works that they've put out has been planted fallen down to the ground where it will nourish the ground. Hopefully the things we've done in our life will nourish those around us and the lives of others. But we as people, our lives are kind of like that. Like we're born in the spring, and I just don't understand why things are blooming. I just don't understand. Very strange this year. But anyway, it's like we're born in the spring and we grow, and in our 30s we start having our own kids, and 20s, and we're getting into the summer of life. In your 40s and 50s, you're getting into the fall of your life, and by the time you hit 60, you're ending up the fall and heading into winter. And you don't have a whole lot of time left. Some of these plants don't, like my nasturtium right there is pretty well gone now. If you're blessed to live that long, some people don't live that long. And some people that have died really young gave a lot in their young life. It's almost as though they sensed their time was so short. But some don't sense, and some sense that apparently, and some don't know. But none of us have the promise of tomorrow. And we really need to think about that sometimes. Because we've only got one life here to live and to give. And hopefully we're giving it for the Lord. Pick a few of these and hope they're still good. Walk along with me. I check out some of my plants. It's not real pretty right now. There's weeds and leaves and sticks that have blown down, and I was away from the garden for several weeks when I went through my physical problems that I had, and these are looking better. That's beets. But as far as our life, for those of you that are younger, you need to prepare your hearts and minds for getting old if you do, like I said, if you're blessed to live to be old, because it's quite different. But what I am thinking and hoping, and what I want to share with you, is that the older people are very precious. I love the older people. I loved my grandparents. I love spending time with my grandparents because I just love listening to their old stories. They can give you tips on gardening. They can give you tips on cooking. There's just so many things in life. And my one grandma, she shared the Lord with me from the time I was very small. She was teaching me scriptures and talking to me about the Lord. And I really appreciate that. I didn't have that from my parents. And that was very, very, very special. She prepared my heart and mind, and I came to know the Lord when I was 10, which is pretty young. But I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the older people, and I hope that if you don't have any grandparents, that maybe you'll adopt some. And if you do have grandparents, spend more time with them. Us old folks get lonesome. We really do. I don't see much of my kids. They have busy lives, and I don't work outside the home anymore. I do stuff here. I try to keep the place going, and I just don't see folks a lot. Most of the time I'm by myself. And you kind of get used to it and actually come to like it a little bit. Now, you see these ashes and stuff on these plants. I had poured some ashes down. It's supposed to rain after today for the next week. It'll wash all those ashes off. So I'm not too worried about that. But that's what that is. Anyway, back to the older people. They're very precious. There's a lot there you can get from them. Now, maybe they can't take a bunch of kids and noise and stuff for long periods of time. They may have a lot of pain they deal with, or look how that lamb's ear grew in my little frog. But anyway, back to the older people. Sometimes they can't take it for a long time, but they still like it. I know they must. I loved, now not all of them are in pain all the time. I love to hear my family, have them around, sitting around the dinner table and listen to them talking and jesting around and all their energy, and the teenagers out rustling in the yard or doing something, you know. It's a good, warm, fulfilling feeling. I love that. And older people do. They may not be able to run races with you anymore. Grandpa may try. But they love you being around. And I think these days a lot of people they just forget the old people. It's not a society here where we live that really cherishes that blessing. And I think there's a lot being missed there. Well, these are pretty well smothered out, my salad greens in here. This down here, some weeds growing in it. This is a true hyssop. Now, I've seen people in their videos say they have a hyssop plant, and maybe there's another plant called a hyssop I'm not aware of. There's anise hyssop and stuff like that. This one here is the true hyssop, like what the Bible talks about. It's actually kind of an evergreen. But yeah, I make tea. There's not a whole lot of flavor in it, at least not in mine. But I do make a tea, add it with some other things sometimes just for the benefits of it, but we can talk about that another time. Okay, over here checking this out. I just wanted to kind of share with you some thoughts about older people getting old. I see, a lot of videos with homesteaders with their kids and all that, and that's really awesome. I've been through that. We used to live in the mountains and raised goats and chickens and rabbits and turkeys and so on and so forth in a big garden, and made cheese and butter and, just all those kind of things. And it's a good thing. I think it's great raising your kids in that kind of an atmosphere. I've kind of almost went back a little bit to that the last few years with the different animals in my garden. I've always kind of had a garden, and chickens. But I hadn't had anything else for a long time. Almost forgot about it. Forgot a lot about my goats till I got back into them for a while, but I'm going to have to cut back again. Some of my chickens haven't got all their feathers back from molting yet. They look a little worse for the wear, but some of them are getting their feathers back okay. Life's interesting. It's different for all of us. I hope more people get back to the agrarian type of life. I think it's a good way to live. I don't know what our future's going to hold. None of us do. But whatever the future holds. I hope it holds you with the Lord. But for now, don't forget the older people. Don't leave us behind. There's a lot, I'm not as old as some, but I'm still getting up there and getting there fast. And you will too. You're going to be surprised. It seems like the other day I remember hearing my dad talk, and he was about my age then, about how quickly life goes, and it does. But in the meantime, there's a very rich commodity in the elderly. There's a lot you can learn from them. And they enjoy company. Most all of them do. Now, you may find one here or there's kind of cranky or this or that, and maybe because they don't feel good, and maybe they've almost forgot what it's like to deal with people or even talk. Have patience, have love. But not all of them are that way. My grandparents weren't. I loved being with my grandparents. I lived part of the time with one set or the other of my grandparents. So, there's a lot you can learn there. My one grandmother, she taught me all about the scriptures. I'm so thankful for that. And the other, each one had their things that they taught. And one grandma was a great, wonderful cook. Many wonderful memories on both sides. But I just wanted to share with you the thought of adoption, not of kids necessarily. There's the place for that too, but maybe adopt you some grandparents if you don't have any. I used to love to take my kids to the convalescent homes, and we'd sing to them and talk with them, and maybe buy some gifts and wrap up and take and give to ones we didn't even know, just because they just seemed kind of lonesome sitting there, and we wanted to see a little smile on their face and share with them and stuff. So that's kind of just some thoughts I wanted to leave with you, maybe a suggestion. Don't forget us old folks, and I think you'll be richer for it, and so will the older people. I just want to tell you all, hope you give me a thumbs up, and hope you have a great time with your families. Maybe invite someone who might be alone this holiday season to your table. And we'll catch y'all later. Bye now.